Hi guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another vlog. Today's video is going to be like a sit down story time while I get ready, and I want to tell you guys about a trip that my boyfriend and I just took to Washington State. We had a great time, but there were definitely a few funny things that I was like, this needs to be commemorated to film so we never forget this trip. So if you guys are new around here, my name is Ashley, but they call me Atru. So thank you so much for clicking on today's video, and I hope you guys enjoy the story. How do we like the light? This is my light up mirror in front of me. It looks better without any light, but I feel like I need the light. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's first start with why we went to Washington. So my best friend Angelique actually lives there, and she was going through some stuff, and I just kind of jokingly said to my boyfriend, we had like a 3-day weekend coming up, and I just jokingly said to him, like, I think I need to go to Washington this weekend. Angelique needs a hug. And that was it. That was all I said. And this man then proceeded to book the flights, the rental car, the hotels. There were a couple other conversations, don't worry. There was just no like hesitation. So it was really sweet. It made me feel so loved. It made my best friend feel so loved that he was just willing to immediately hop on a plane, all because I said like she needed a hug. Now granted, Washington State had a big reason to do with it. He has never met this friend before. We have only been together like a year and a half, and my best friend has lived in Washington for like 7 or 8 years, I think. And so they just have never had the opportunity to meet, unfortunately. If you don't know, I live in Vegas. And Washington State and Vegas could literally not be more different. I live in a desert. She lives in a beautiful, rain, luscious wonderland. Not that the desert doesn't have its beautiful aspects, but it's nothing like Washington. And so that was a big reason of why he wanted to go. He really wanted to go to Washington. We both have been there, but never together, which I really loved. Was one of his like main points as for like why we should go, because I was like, are you sure you want to spend all this money like to go to a place that we've already been? You don't want to like pick somewhere new? And he was like, well, we could, but like we've never been to Washington or Oregon together, and so I think it would be really great to go and make these memories. And I was just like, that's so nice. That is essentially how and why we went to Washington. We flew. It would be like a 10 to 12 hour drive if we had decided to drive, and we did not want to waste our precious vacation hours driving. So my boyfriend got us flights. He booked us a hotel. He booked us a rental car, and it was really freaking awesome. My best friend and I were just so grateful that like he was the type of person that would do that. This trip was just so much fun. It honestly was a dream vacation from start to finish. Like I said, I want to talk about some of the funnier things that happened. So we get to the airport to fly out. Our flight leaves around, I think it was late, like 9:45-ish was our flight, PM. And then we were supposed to get in to Portland because my best friend lives in Washington State, but she only lives like 30 minutes from Portland. So it is the closest airport. So we were flying into Portland and then driving the 30 minutes to her town. But so our flight here was supposed to leave at like 9:45, and then we were supposed to get in about 12:55, 1 o'clock, 1 a.m.-ish in Portland. And so the flight there was beautiful. It was so smooth, so easy. It wasn't scary. It was great. I couldn't have asked for a better flight. I'm not like afraid of flying. I wouldn't say that I'm someone who like enjoys it either. Like I don't look forward to getting on a plane. They're a little scary to me, but I'm not so scared that I won't fly. But I wouldn't say that I'm just not excited for flying. That's all. And as long as there's not too much happening that I don't understand or don't know, then I'm pretty good on the flight. I'm not sitting there the whole time like, you know, but I am if there is a lot of turbulence or if it doesn't feel like turbulence. Do you know what I mean? Like if it just feels like plane is constantly fighting to stay in the air. Okay, so beautiful flight there. Our pilot actually gets us into Portland like 15 minutes early. So we arrive at 12:40. Now, like I had mentioned, my boyfriend had booked the hotel, the rental car, and the flights. And when he booked the rental car, it I let him like choose what time we would be picking up the car, and he put 1 a.m. on there because, well, we were supposed to get in at 12:55. So that's just kind of what time he thought we would pick it up. But we ended up getting there like 15 minutes early. Now, if you've never been to the Portland airport or flown in or whatever, like the airport is here and then the car rental is on the other side of the earth. Like it is on the complete other end of the world from where we got off our plane. So it took us, like we got off the plane at like 12:40. So it took us 25 minutes to walk there. Not only to walk there, but what also took a long time was the fact that we got in at 12:40 a.m. There was not a soul working at this airport. I mean, there was nobody but passengers. There was not anyone behind a desk. There was not a security guard in sight to tell us like where to go. Now, obviously they have signs, but sometimes the signs can be far and few between. And when you've been walking so far for so long and you just haven't seen a sign or a human being, you're kind of like, am I going the right way? Like, I really hope we're headed in the right direction because I have no clue where we are. Like, why is there no one here? So whatever, we walk the 25-minute walk to the rental car place. Get there at like 1:04, I think. I'm just a time person, so that's how I know. We get there at like 1:04, and the man is like looking at us and he's like, what time did you guys put your order in to pick up your car? And my boyfriend was like, 1, like between 1 and 2 or whatever, like it said. And he was like, well, we close at 1. And so my boyfriend and I like look at each other like, and he was like, I mean, also, hey, I'll still like stay and help you guys, but just for future reference, like we close at 1 a.m. So if you ever like fly back, then you're gonna want to pick a time or like a plane that comes in before then, because if you had gotten here like 5-10 minutes later, like nobody would be here. Thankfully, we were able to get our car, but you would think that that's something that they would put on like the website or a confirmation email of some kind. Like this should have been bigger news, you know what I'm saying? And so we were just sitting there like minds blown, because mind you, my boyfriend works for the city, and so he's up at 4 a.m. So at this point he had been up a good like 21 hours and he was exhausted. Like we're both tired. I wasn't as tired because my job is not anywhere nearly as hard as his physically, but I just like, we were just sitting there like, are you serious? So if our pilot had not gotten us here 15 minutes early and we didn't like luckily walk the entire right way the full 25 minutes, like we would have been sleeping at the airport, because I don't think they opened until like 5 or 6 a.m. And mind you, like, why are they closing? This is an airport. People come in at all times of the night. Shouldn't you be open all times of the night? Maybe it's because I'm from Vegas and we are 24 hours, but like, you're an airport. Like, we were just mind blown. And then as he's like pulling up our order and whatever, he's like, also, we only have like 5 minutes to get you up there and get your car. Otherwise, they're gonna like lock the gates and you're gonna be stuck inside the parking garage. Okay. And so he walks us up there, luckily, and takes us to the car and tells us how to get out. And we made it out and everything was fine. But the entire 30-minute drive to our hotel, we were just like, like, thank goodness we made it out, but we were so close to not that we were just so mind blown, you know? So we get to the hotel, everything's fine and dandy. The next day we wake up, we go to breakfast, we go and meet up with my friend after, and she takes us to this really pretty spot called the Vancouver waterfront, and I'm gonna insert some pictures of it right here. And as you can see, it was beautiful. We walked it for a good, like, I don't know, hour and a half maybe, with her and her little boy. Her other 2 kids were at school, so they were not with us for this excursion, and her husband was at work, so they were not joining us. But it was super fun. We got to see the water, as you guys saw. I think there was a bridge, but I don't think we went on it. I can't remember. And then it was time to go pick up her other 2 kids from school, get her husband, and then she took us to this really cool thing. I don't remember what it was called, but it was to feed the cows, like non-used pumpkins left over from Halloween. And so like they couldn't be cut and they couldn't be painted. So just like pumpkins that people had. She had like 10 or 12 that she had collected from her neighborhood with permission. And we took it to this farm and we fed these Highland cows. I think they had goats and chickens, and then there were 2 peacocks. And it was so fun. It was not something we would ever like be able to do here in Vegas, and so we loved it. And then they went and took us like to this local burger place for dinner, and we took it home and ate with them and hung out. And then Angelique and my boyfriend went back to the hotel, and her husband went and like put the kids to bed, and we had a girls' night, and it was so fun. We just sat there and talked, and it was just so nice, and I'm so thankful that we got that time, and I'm so thankful thankful to my boyfriend and her husband for allowing us that time. Like, her husband was fine going upstairs and playing video games after they put their kids to bed, and my boyfriend was fine going to the hotel and like hanging out by himself for a few hours, so that way I could have like my best friend and alone time with her. It was just awesome. And then she took me back to the hotel. Saturday though, that was a day full of activities. We woke up, we went to Angelique's house. Her husband had made us breakfast and it was delicious, and then we hopped in the car and we went right to a place called the Bridge of the Gods. And I'll show you guys, I'll insert some pictures here. I'm not sure if they call it the Bridge of the Gods because of the I cannot speak, because of the way that it is made, or if it's because of how high it is, but either way, it's a really high bridge. And then the bottom of it is kind of crate looking things. I'm not sure of the proper words, but basically like you can get out of the car if you wanted to. We did not, but you could get out of the car and walk on the bridge and you can like see down through it. So I don't know how to describe it, but the pictures might show you. So, and then afterwards they had like a gift shop. They had this really cute park that we took the kids to play at, and from the park there was like this tiny bridge, like compared to the Bridge of the Gods. There was this tiny bridge that could connect it to the mainland, and then it connected you to a little island. And the island was beautiful. I will insert the pictures. It was just full of trees and leaves and green and grass. I mean, the whole state was. It was just beautiful. Everywhere you looked was absolutely gorgeous. And so we were just in awe. Even though I had been there before, last time I went was in the month April, so I had never been there for the fall. And fall, like Washington fall, was mind-blowingly beautiful. So then after we finished at the Bridge of the Gods area and the park and the kids had fun, they were kind of tuckered out, they took us like a little bit down the road to the waterfall. I don't know fully how to say it, but I think it's called the Montanoma Falls. Don't hate me if I didn't say it right. But it is the bridge where Angelique and her husband got engaged, and so it was so fun to see that spot in person because obviously I wasn't there when it happened. So it was really neat to see. We got a couple souvenirs. We got some magnets, ornaments, stuffed animals, you guys. So then we went back to Angelique's house and we separated for a little bit. We gave them some downtime with their kids. We had some downtime at the hotel, maybe like an hour or two. I don't completely remember. And then we went to dinner, which I don't think I got any pictures of, but it was just this cool restaurant called Antidote, and we all liked our food enough to not like go out to eat afterwards. But after we went to dinner, there was this grand opening of an ice cream shop called 8 Cow Creamery, and it's all like local, I don't know, natural ingredients. I don't completely remember. I just remember Angelique wanted to go, and my boyfriend Chris loves ice cream, so we went, and I got something called the Cookie Monster, and it was delicious. Here's a picture of it. And then once we were done there, we went back to Angelique's house and hung out with her and her husband while her husband watched the BYU football game. Her husband went to BYU, and Angelique actually used to live in Utah with him when they first got married, and it was so much easier to go visit her. I would go visit her once a year, at least, when she lived in Utah. Once she moved to Washington, it became a lot harder. So BYU is a very big deal to them, and I loved it because it reminded me, I love football, but we had a lot of fun watching the game with them. And then came our last day. We spent the morning with kind of just the two of us, me and my boyfriend. We went and we got, what did we do? We went to breakfast and then we went and got tattoos. And it was really fun. This is our second trip that we have taken together where we've gotten tattoos, and it's become such a fun tradition. I will put up the pictures of what we got. He got the waterfall, I got the Just Go. Then we went to a place called, we thought it was, what did we think it was? I believe we thought it was the Vancouver Fort, but I think Angelique and her husband told us that it was not, that it was more of like a downtown Vancouver area. I'm not sure, but it was like a good 6 blocks of just historical places that back in like the 1800s, mid 1800s, like 1850, used to be like generals' houses, presidents used to stay there, army barracks, post office, just like a small little town, almost like where Vancouver started, maybe? I don't know. But it was like where people would stay if they were assigned that territory. I don't know. It was really cool. We got to go up to some of the houses. It wasn't like a tour guide or anything. Like I said, it was just a huge, like, it felt like 6 or 7 blocks of just houses. and buildings that used to be houses and now had turned into other things. Chris and I are definitely like history buffs. We love seeing that kind of stuff, love learning stuff. It was so fun. We spent 2.5 hours there when we thought it was going to be like a 20-minute thing. Oh, wait. I forgot. Before we went to the Vancouver quote unquote fort, because I don't know what else to call it because we really didn't know what it was. What we thought it was the fort because when we like Googled it and put it into maps, like the Vancouver fort, that's where it took us. That I forgot. After we got tattoos, Chris really wanted to go to a winery, so I do have pictures of that. Not the best time to go to a winery in the winter because all the fruit is dead. But he had a good time. He had his little flight of wine. I don't drink, so I had an orange soda, but they were super cute and put it in a little wine glass for me. And then we walked around the vineyard a little bit. It was really cold. Speaking of cold though, let's jump back then to the Vancouver quote unquote fort. And I want to show you guys a picture. I am a desert rat. Okay, I am from Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised. I love the heat. I thrive in my triple-digit summers. Anything below 73 to me is cold. I'm cold. So there were people walking around in like jeans and t-shirts. We saw a girl in a sundress. Some people just had like a light flannel on. And then there was me. I'm gonna show you the picture. I am wearing a pair of leggings, like workout leggings, so they're kind of thick, sweatpants, a shirt, a sweatshirt, my big like puffy Ravenclaw jacket that you guys can see. I have a beanie on, my gloves on, and I put my hood up. I was freezing. But like I said, we had so much fun walking around. I didn't want to let the cold ruin it. And so I just bundled up and I was fine. I didn't take anything off ever. I wasn't hot at one point. I wasn't sweaty. I was doing great. It was just the right amount of stuff to where I was completely comfortable and had so much fun walking around. And lastly, to end our trip, once we were done there, we went to Angelique's house and they made us dinner before we left for our flight. And this is kind of a funny part too, but less funny when you're living it. But my boyfriend says he put in Portland Airport to his phone, but it only got the Portland part. So we were taking the maps back. 30-minute drive, by the way. Remember, she lives 30 minutes from Portland. So our flight is at, I think, around the same time. It was supposed to leave around like 9:40, and we were leaving her house at 7 to get to the airport because it was a 30-minute drive to Portland. We needed to figure out where to return the rental car, walk that 25-minute walk, get through TSA, do all the stuff, you know? If you've flown before, you know. So we realized like 4 minutes before it says like you've arrived at your destination, my boyfriend is like, this is not the airport. Like there is no way this is right. And so he looks at it and it just says like Portland, Oregon. And so it had taken us to like the center of the city. It was beautiful to see the Portland, like, I don't know if you call it a skyline or what, but it was beautiful. So kind of glad we got to see it. But then he was panicking. My poor man. He was like, I didn't put in the wrong thing. Like, how did this happen? We're gonna be late. Also, it's raining. We're not used to driving in the rain. Also, what up, Portland and Washington? Do you guys not like streetlights? There was like no streetlights on the freeways, we noticed. And it was just, so it was hard to see. It was roads we didn't know. Chris was driving in the rain, the wrong way, the wrong place. Poor man was stressed. My little love. I love him so much though. He did great. He got us there safe and sound. So I put it in my phone and was like, go this way. And so it was like 20 minutes we had to go in a completely different direction. And so we finally make it. We give our rental car back, no problems. We make our 25-minute walk. We get to TSA and then we go through it. It's not super fast, but it's not super slow either. So it was whatever. We stop at the bathrooms and we sit down at our gate at 9:05. I think, like I said, our flight was supposed to leave around like 9:40 something, and literally at 9:13 they are like, okay, flight whatever to Vegas, like you guys can start boarding. So we literally made it with like 8 minutes to spare. Now granted, that's not fully right. Obviously they let people board for a good like 15-20 minutes. I think we ended up leaving like 10 minutes early. It was not a full flight. So hold on, I keep forgetting stuff. This is why I wanted to tell you guys this is why I needed to make this video, because I wanted to tell you guys. I stopped doing my makeup like 10 minutes ago. Hold on. So my boyfriend and I flew Spirit there, and it was awesome. We had a very pleasant experience, but we flew Frontier back. And so when we booked with Spirit and with Frontier, we did one personal item each and one carry-on each. So we didn't do any checked bags, but he paid for it And then when we went to check in the night before, he noticed that Frontier had it so that way we did not have any carry-on bags. And he was like checking his receipt. He's like, no, I paid for it. Like, it says it right here. It's paid for. And so he calls Frontier, I think he calls, I don't know, Priceline, Travelocity, something like that. Whatever thing he booked through. And basically what happened was the thing that we booked it through didn't charge us like the right amount. Like, they charged us too little for the carry-on bags that we were bringing. And so instead of just charging us more, instead of just charging him more, they just completely canceled the bags altogether. And so it was a mess. So basically we each had to pay $70 to bring our bags onto the plane. Luckily, he had figured this all out the night before, so it wasn't like we walked up to the counter and thought we had paid and then ended up having to pay $100 at the door. But still, $70 is a lot. And so it was pretty annoying. He was definitely upset about it, but he's a great man and hit it. And we had a wonderful rest of our time the next day. But then on top of that, I feel like there was more I needed to mention. Oh, so while he was just like paying for the bags, he also was like, well, like, we're already spending more money, we might as well like pay to sit together, because they had put us, one of us at a window seat like on this side of the plane and one of us on a window seat like way back here on the plane. Like, we were nowhere near each other, because when you buy the tickets, you have the option right then and there to pay to sit together or to just like wing it and hope you get put together. We did not get put together, so we upgraded to sit together, and the flight ended up being like half. So we could have just probably asked them to move us together, or can we sit together? And they might have said no, they might have said yes, who knows? But I think it was a sign from God, like a pure blessing, because the flight back was absolutely horrific, scary. It was bumpy from start to finish. I felt like it was the pilot's first day. So like during takeoff, it was just like, ugh. Like, the plane felt like it was struggling to stay in the air. And I don't know if, like, I can't imagine every passenger on there just had never flown before, but it was so fast and so abrupt, and there was just like no warning that he was about to take off. I mean, obviously there was a little bit, like, the plane is on, we're kind of moving, but you know how like you're just kind of chilling and then all of a sudden you'll start to go and then speed up and get in the air? There was like no vocal warning that we were about to do that. And so everyone's stuff like slid backwards. Luckily not ours. We didn't have anything on the ground, but they say like that you can put your personal item like underneath your chair if you want to. And I think because no one was expecting us to like take off right that second, because it's a plane so it goes really fast, like nobody was holding on to their stuff. So like my boyfriend caught like some lady's phone who was like 5 rows ahead of us, and like you could just hear it, things sliding across the floor. And the pilot did it again when landing. You just heard everyone's stuff like slide forward. And so that could have been like the plane, it could have been people not listening to the rules, I don't know. But again, it just was like, it felt like he brake checked us. It was not like a smooth takeoff and it was not like a smooth landing, and it was just bumpy and hard. I had never been so thankful to get off a plane. It's fine. I live to tell the tale. Everything's okay. So thankfully we made it safe and sound, and I think those are all the funny things that happened. Washington was great. Like I said, it was an absolute dream vacation from start to finish. Even the little funny things that happened. The bags was the most annoying, because that's not just something funny, that's like a lot of money that it cost him, and so like that's not funny. But all the other stuff is funny. People were so nice and so helpful. We went to Walmart when we first got there to get like waters and toilet paper for the hotel room, and the lady spent like, the checkout lady at Walmart spent like 5 minutes writing down places for us to go and see and how to get there and what months to go and telling us to come back. Like, when people found out we were from out of town, they just thought it was the coolest thing, and they were so sweet to us, which is not something you get in Vegas at all. And so it was just wonderful. It was wonderful to be with my best friend in her time of need. It was so fun getting to experience the state and city with my boyfriend and and make memories with him. I feel like it made me love him so much more than I already do, which I don't ever feel like is possible. And my best friend got to meet him, see what kind of man he is, and I'm so thankful for that. She is truly someone who is so special to me. We've been best friends for 15 years, and like that she got to meet him who's so important to me. You know, this is the man that I'm gonna marry and have babies with. It's not just some like, I don't know, willy-nilly relationship, and so I'm just so thankful for it, and we cannot wait to go back, honestly. But that is my story. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you guys liked it. I had originally wanted to vlog the trip so that way it was a little bit more of a fun, you know, video to watch, but the main purpose of going was for me to be with my best friend, and she doesn't want to be on YouTube. Her kids can't be on YouTube. I'm sure her husband doesn't want to be on YouTube. My boyfriend tolerates the camera, but I wouldn't say he's like jonesing for me to like pull it out and put him on camera. And while they're both supportive and like watch my videos, neither have a desire to be in it. And so I didn't want to take away from time with her by trying to get shots without her and her family in it. I didn't want it to be like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna go film over here, so you guys just stay over here. You know, I really wanted to spend time with her and make memories with her and him, and that was my priority. But once all these things happened in the trip, I was like, this needs to be commemorated. And so that is why I decided to sit down and tell you guys the stories. I know that I am the worst at posting consistently. Maybe one day I'll get it, but maybe not. But all the more reason for you guys to subscribe to this channel. If you guys liked this video, pretty please give it a thumbs up. It really supports me and my channel. If you guys liked me, pretty please hit that subscribe button. It really supports my mental health. I have no clue when I'll post a video, but hopefully it is soon. We are getting into the holiday season. I am so excited. It's my favorite time of year, so I can't wait to make memories and show you guys and have you be a part of them with us, hopefully. And I think that's everything. So, okay, love you. Bye.